always looking for that which is good in everything and in everyone, and so it is so positive. My Quaker principles have dictated how I carry myself in life. It's dictated how I address people, so my everyday practices, how I would like to see other people addressed. So it definitely comes into play in my every decision I make in life, whether I realize it or not.
It is so much a part of me. It's part of the way that I am, the way that I think, the way that I expect others to think. What keeps me coming back? Of all of the things that I've seen, it's what makes the most sense to me as a way to be, as a way to live and to worship and to make a difference in this world.
I was searching for something, so I'm still a searcher, and I found other searchers, some other like me.
I was drawn to Quakerism because of the simplicity of the beliefs. There was nothing I had to learn, nothing I had to recite, nothing that I had to sit for an exam for to make sure that I moved up to the next level.
It's easy to sometimes think of Quakerism as a bit of a self-service supermarket where you can pop the things that you like into your trolley and anything you don't like you leave on the shelf. I think that sells Quakerism a bit short. There is a discipline to being a Quaker, and it isn't just a bit of what you like.
We do have a lot of people who come and want a genuinely thoughtful, open, searching community, and I hope we can provide that.
Quakerism is simply a gathering of people who wish to live a life lived in peace, friendship and love without hurting others. And I found this quite exhilarating.
This is the religion that I have the most experience with, and I struggle when I attend religious services from other faiths. I try to find the light. I try to find the songs that are meaningful or the words that are meaningful. I try to notice that people are in worship or strengthening their relationship with God. And sometimes I just sit quietly and hold the space because that's what I can do. So I certainly think that people do what makes sense to them, and we all come at it from different ways. This is the way that makes sense for me.
I think that we have to be mindful that it isn't an anything goes religion. That there is discipline, there is expectations, there is a Quaker way. So it's not a free-for-all, and it's not anarchy. But the primary value of Quakerism is based on experience. Dogma is something that Quakers are deeply suspicious of. Experience trumps dogma every time. And it's only through experience we come to know God.
Quakerism takes you as you are and then very gently leads you towards something. And it's not for me to say what it's leading you for, because that is within each person individually.
We as Quakers have that saying that there is light of good, of God, the light within everyone, and we are a vessel and are directly connected to the Spirit. And so you don't really need a leader to show you the way. It's more like we're all on our own little pod and we see each other, obviously we see each other and embrace within the community, but it's also your individual journey. No one necessarily can be telling you like this is the right way of doing things.
The joy and happiness that is within me comes from, as George Fox asked us to do, go cheerfully over the world, seeking that of God in every person. I can't remember ever reading a definition of what that of God is. I have to make that up for myself and discover it through living. And I think I have discovered it. I believe that that of God in every person is simply love.
My wife belonged to ethnic Presbyterian church. There's a Korean Presbyterian church. I don't enjoy listening to sermon. I don't enjoy listening to prayers. So I wanted to have a community to belong to that doesn't not so disagreeable. I don't mind having different perspective, different way of thinking. They are all okay, but I would like. Then, if somebody think differently, we can talk about, why do you think like that, and we enjoy learning about each other. But some Christian communities are not like that. There's right and wrongs, and they want to change you.
Because I grew up among Baptists, which very, talk about God and Jesus all the time, I'm not scared of that end of Quakerism, that, there's, a very Christological end that really is immersed in biblical teachings. And I had a lot of years of Sunday school and a lot of, time in Baptist churches as an adult to feel at home with that. I even preached a few times as a layperson in my Baptist church. So I understand all that intimately, but I was frustrated by a lot of the teachings and the rigidity of it.
The basic in Quakerism is God within each of us. But what does God mean is so different among different people. I am one of those who I don't know whether I don't believe in. This may be misunderstood. I don't believe in God as commonly conceived.
Quakerism around the world is so different, and the way that it looks in Australia is radically different from how it looks in Kenya. And to me, there's definitely tensions within that, but it's kind of intriguing that we all kind of call ourselves the same thing and have these radically different beliefs.
The minimum requirement of Quaker would be Quaker testimonies, people accepting Quaker testimonies, peace, simplicity, and so on. They are very agreeable to me, and I would recommend that to any person of any religion.
It is a part of my life. But in a sense, it doesn't matter that it's not, because Quakerism is about being faithful to the community, those other people who choose on a daily basis to continue to be Quakers, but hopefully also faithful to what we often call the Quaker way.
Many people say that they have always been a Quaker. They didn't know. I'm the same. So to me, being a Quaker or not Quaker is not so important, because I'm what I have been. I didn't suddenly change.
When you reach my age, that is when you are given the joy and the happiness of realizing that what Fox talked about as that of God in every person is simply love. And you have the time to give it. They have the time to feel it. And what could be more beautiful than that?
Somebody once said, I just want to be living it so much that people say, oh, you know, I want what they've got. Like, what is it that's sustaining you?